yeah, but I am not sure which one I'm going to choose, so the idea of this video is sharing my thoughts about which kind of sketchbook should I choose for now, and which option can we have, especially about the size of the sketchbook and the orientation of the page, and why choosing one option or another. I guess I have to make a break and think about it again. Frankly, I don't know which one to choose. I am not sure at all about it. Dun dun dun! Should I? Oh, that's so tough to decide. I don't know. So first choice to make, the size of the sketchbook. I am used to work on two different sizes. This one, which is the smaller size, and the other one, which is the bigger one. And this one is twice the size as the other one. These are the size I get when I tear my watercolor paper in pieces. So by the way, I like to create my own sketchbooks, binding some watercolor paper pieces together, and I am currently using the Fabriano Cold Press 300 GSM paper, which is my favorite. So why would I use a smaller or a bigger sketchbook? Maybe you are wondering. For me, the main point is about carrying it in my bag. And I am used to have some nice creative bag like this one, which is my famous creative bag. One day I'm going to make a whole video about this. And of course, this kind of size is really handy, to be able to carry it in your handbag and creative bag. And I have a new one. My students for the watercolor workshop in India gave this to me as a gift, the most wonderful gift ever. A creative bag made in India with camel leather. And so this one is just perfect too, to carry a small sketchbook like that. So for this one I put the sketchbook vertically, whereas for the other one I put the sketchbook horizontally in the bag. So if I want to carry my sketchbook everywhere in these little bags, of course I have to choose the smaller size. When I want to work on a bigger size, like during the symposiums for example, I carry a backpack too with my sketching stuff and sometimes a stool and everything, but that's not something I'm going to do when going to buy some bread outside. I tried a few options to try to have a bigger handbag so that the bigger sketchbook could fit in it, but for now it's not so successful, so I keep in my head that I need a smaller sketchbook to carry around, and that the bigger one is for maybe more special occasion or something like that. But let's go back to my current choice. This day is not a special occasion, there is not a special holiday or travel I am going to, there is no symposium yet. So maybe we could think that I would choose a small one so that I can carry it around. However, this is winter now in France and I don't really like cold at all, so I'm not a lot into urban sketching outside, outdoor and going around. So I think my future sketching session would rather be inside, indoors. I like to paint vegetables and fruits and maybe my home decor because I am in a new apartment, and plants. So probably I'm going to choose this bigger size. The other reason is because I feel like I am in a sort of creative period when I want to make watercolor, but maybe also ink sketching and maybe making a bit of collage and adding photography. and calligraphy and everything. I like my sketchbook to be rich and full, and on some smaller pages it's more difficult to associate several sketches together or collage or adding something, because a smaller page is full, so quickly. So for example, this page is really full with the sketching. I couldn't paste any tickets or receipts or everything. So maybe on a bigger sketchbook this can be easier. In this bigger sketchbook, this is my Brittany sketchbook, I had some room to make, this was a demo about talking about my colors and having some opportunity to paste things together. So yeah, with a bigger one, I pasted something here too, and adding some photos. So that's easier, and the sketch doesn't take all the rooms. Here you can see also how it's fun to put several sketches together, really different. In fact, this is a view from the window in the restaurant, and this is a special Britain crepes. So yeah, with a smaller sketchbook, maybe I would have had only the crepes on the page, and I wouldn't have had this kind of overall travel atmosphere. So this is another example from my Chicago sketchbook, and even if the sketch is quite big, there was some room out there to paste a little photo and the stickers Marugodas gave us during the workshops, and a few color swatches. We now know that I want to choose a big sketchbook, so that this is my choice for the format. But then there is a question of the orientation of the page, and that's a tough question. Because, I started with the normal orientation, and for example, my Chicago sketchbook is this orientation, and this is the standard, it's called a portrait orientation of the page. I started to try the other orientation a few months ago, so this is the landscape orientation. First on a smaller sketchbook, and I was quite impressed about how it gives you an impression of space to be able to paint such a long thing. So it's quite narrow, the A8 is quite small, but it gives you such an impression of space. And for this kind of sketchbook, I alternate between horizontal long panoramas and vertical ones. So of course you have to turn your sketchbook to have the two things together. It quite bothered me at first, to have to change the direction, but finally I like to be able to make these long sketches, and I really like the vertical format because it's so original to make such a long, thin, narrow sketch. And this is another narrow sketch with quite this is really busy out there and not so much here, but the fact that it's quite a long direction is really interesting and gives something special to the sketch. Sometimes you can also just put two things together, one a bit long and just a little small vertical vignette. And then for Brittany, last September I decided to try a big landscape sketchbook, and it was just wonderful to use too. It's quite a long thing when you have it open, so maybe not the most handy to carry it in the field and in the restaurant on the table or something. This seemed quite a statement. But it's so enjoyable, once again, to be able to work in such a big page, and as the sketchbook is bigger, you have an even longer sketch that you can do, and that's a bit less a narrow feeling, because you can choose, to widen your sketch a bit and everything. Once again, in this sketchbook, I worked sometimes horizontally, sometimes putting several things together, and sometimes just working on a big long sketch. And I really had a lot of fun too to work on really tall sketches, having such a big room for skies and here for rocks, and expand the sketching boundary. There is another one out there with a boat at the top, and I could expand it a lot with sea and seaweeds. The pros for the long one is that you can have a sense of a really long thing to work on and to make panoramas and big vertical things and big horizontal things too. The drawback is that you have to change the orientation. This is more a sort of a round shape when you can maybe more easily paste things around, but I am not really sure about it. For this one you don't have to change the orientation. Frankly, I don't know which one to choose. I am not sure at all about it. I was wondering why shooting the video will make me change my decision or something. And at first, I was thinking I would choose this orientation because I was thinking it would be simpler to compose on the page and everything. And now that I browse my Brittany sketchbook again and I remember how much it's fun to make big tall thing like that, I think I'm going to go for the longer one. Dun dun dun! Should I? Aha! So, are you ready to work with me? I think the long format helped me to expand the sketch boundaries and to be more original with the composition. You have some space to fill sometimes. You just put a piece of floor or a piece of ground or more sky and everything. Finally, the restraints of a really narrow and long format push you to get more creative. So that's probably the good choice. I would be really happy to know which kind of sketchbook do you like to use. Is it the big, small? Do you have several sketchbooks at the same time? Do you use a portrait format or landscape format? And do you make your own sketchbook yourself? Oh, that's quite a lot of questions. You can just answer one and we will talk about everything later, I guess. Hopefully you find this thoughts sharing interesting, and I hope you liked to bit of a leaf through a few of my sketchbooks too. So thank you so much for watching and see you for the next video. Oh, I don't know. Oh, I don't know.